Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Chris, and today I wanted to talk about how is it that you know when your stacking journey may be coming to an end? Well, let's answer the question right off the top. When you start to buy stuff, so much stuff, that you don't even realize what you have anymore, that's when your stacking journey might be on the back end of the spectrum. For myself, I know that because I like variety so much in my stack, and I, dabble between collection pieces and just regular straight bullion. I don't even realize the things that I have in my stack. I know a few of you were talking about that you that you find things that you've purchased and are like, oh wow, when did I get this in your stack? And actually, that's pretty intriguing. I like that because that really should kind of be how your stack is. There are different personalities. So some people are the want to track everything. They track it at the price they bought it, the time they bought it, whatever spot was, how much of that was premium, etc., 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 how many they have. Then there are the other end of that spectrum, people more like me who have a rough idea of what they have, but don't keep track of it on a regular basis. The main reason is because, again, stacking is the long game. It's not an investment for me. I don't plan on making any money from it. The main thing is it's protecting that value, purchasing power over a period of time. But also with bullion, you're underwater from day one. So you're losing money. You're paying for something. You're paying a premium for something up front. So if I was treating it as an investment, it's kind of tough because, again, right off the bat, every time you purchase, you're looking at it as, hey, I'm underwater. I guess the same could be said for things like crypto and stuff, depending on the fees that you're paying for purchasing them. Not so much with stocks, depending if you pay for trades or things like that. But again, that's really why I don't consider silver an investment. I mean, the fact that you're underwater from day one, and then the fact that, again, it's a rigged game where spot just, can get hit at any time, as we've seen, that's a pretty tough thing to invest in. Now, what is it if it's not an investment? To me, it's an insurance policy. It's an insurance policy against if, all of these doomsday scenarios that people talk about. Oh, the dollar's going to die. The currency's going to die. Oh, we're not going to be able to get rid of our dollars. We're going to turn to Venezuela. Do I think that's going to happen? No. I don't think it's realistic at all, because I think people who say that don't understand just how ingrained the dollar is into everything. It's not something where China or Russia can just come along and replace the dollar, or the other nations a few of them can get together and organize their own thing. It's so in depth when you really understand how all encompassing the dollar is, that I don't think it's going anywhere. And like I said, the real truth on the dollar is that the way that they set the system up before the US went off the gold standard to get everybody to use dollars as their reserves, while the dollar was still technically backed by gold in some form. Although, I mean, even at that point, spending was ridiculous. But the fact that they got everyone to agree to that, and then the first thing they did was turn around and say, hey, guess what? Temporarily, we're not going to have our money backed by anything. And then ever since then, they've been exploding the debt every year. And it doesn't matter political parties. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. They all love to sell you on fiscal responsibility. That they all used to talk about that. We need to be fiscally responsible, have a balanced budget. We need to, pay down the deficit, blah, 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 blah. People who say that, especially paying down the deficit, people who say that don't understand anything about government finance. It doesn't work like your checkbook. It doesn't work like personal finance. It's not meant to work like that. It couldn't work like that. And so when you hear those things, they sound great, right? Like, who doesn't want to be fiscally responsible? We think that, we've been taught that, having a balanced budget or paying down the debt or things like that are things that make the country stronger economically, right? But when you really think about sovereign finance, it doesn't work like that for whatever reason. It really doesn't. And so it's kind of crazy. So that's where silver comes in, silver, gold, etc., is the insurance policy. That if that system ever collapses for whatever reason, it doesn't matter what the catalyst is. What does it matter? It's like saying, if you die, what does it matter how you died? You're dead. So, it's something you want to protect against. That's really the reason to be into gold and silver, not so much for investment purposes. And the fact that really, like I said, like, and I always try to tell people, look, the thing with gold and silver, or buying things like that, is unlike the fiat currency, you won't spend this on just anything. You're not going to liquidate your gold and silver, on a whim, because you want to go to Vegas, or you want to go on vacation, or you want to do this or that. You might, but it's going to be a lot harder for you than, hey, I had it sitting in a savings account, it wasn't doing anything. It's surely not earning any interest, so it's not doing anything for me anyway. I might as well enjoy it. These kind of things, at least it's locked up in something where you're not going to touch it, or at least most people won't. So that's really where it comes into play for me. And as far as, like I said, like your stacking journey, if you're that type of person who's the A personality, who's completely like logging everything about your stack, everything, how much you bought it for, when you bought it, if you know all that stuff, I mean, that's great. That's a little too controlling for me personally, but I think it's great if you're able to do it and you're into it in that way. It's funny because for me, like, whenever I see, for example, things like this one actually, I think, was something that was on sale on AppMex that I purchased, and it was just kind of one of those things and kind of like an impulse buy. Whereas these guys over here were like, there was like a month or 2 months where I spent, trying to get the Voyager or the Geese into my stack. This guy I ended up picking up from some random coin shop I visited in the South Bay, the Israeli coin. This one I saw at the coin shop, I was like, what is that? And then he's like, oh, it's just an Israeli piece of silver, like things like that. Whereas, again, even, things like the Libertads, these I didn't have it up until recently. But then once I saw that somebody had gone into the coin shop and liquidated a huge stack, and these were part of it, I was like, you know what? Their loss is my gain. So, like, when I see things like that, this I purchased off of Silver Gold Saver. I think I actually purchased 2 of them, if I recall correctly, just in case I wanted to move one, the Germania. But like all of these things, it's like, I don't even pay attention to them. Why? Because I don't want to be that involved in my stack. I don't want to be like obsessed with, oh my gosh, my stack. If I was that type of person and I looked at it, over the last couple weeks where spots gotten hit, I'd be looking at it thinking, wow, look at how much. If I'd have to update my Excel spreadsheet to show how much money I lost, and I'd sit there, like same thing with people obsessed about stocks or different things, whatever their thing is, whatever their drug is that they need to have. The dragon coins are pretty nice. A lot of people have those. The little presentation things, I actually like the presentation thing almost as much as I like the proof dragon coin. That's how much the perf thing is, how nice it looks. But the reason I mention this stuff is because, these kind of things are really important, especially as time goes on, to really take a look at, like, why do I have these things? Why do I stack? Why do I have different, investments, let's say? For example, right now, a lot of people are looking at the market, it had 2-3 days of pretty good sized downturns. Nothing amazing, nothing crazy, like a few percent. But people are so not used to that anymore because the market's just been going up and up and up, that every time it happens, they're, oh my God, the market's gonna crash, get ready, the big one's coming, la la la. No, it's not. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And so when you see those kind of things, like, really, like, to me, it just tells me to buy. Same thing as when I see, like, any of the big banks come out with a warning on this or that, inflation, or expect a black swan in the market. What does that tell me? It tells me that they're expecting the exact opposite, that they're expecting the market to just keep going up. Same thing with interest rates. The whole big thing about interest rates. Oh, the Fed's gonna raise interest rates. It's gonna change everything. It's gonna knock the market down. Yeah, I mean, it could. It's not likely though. And like I said, like, even if they raise interest rate, what does it mean for you? Nothing. You're not gonna notice a 0.25% change in the Fed funds rate. You're just not. Even if you took out a mortgage after that happened, it might be a small change in your payment. Wow, is that going to dissuade you from purchasing the overvalued house, the super inflated house? No, it's not. you're still gonna buy it, and you're gonna pay way over asking price, way over market price. This is how they distract you from what's actually going on. I mean, everything is inflated in price now. And what is everything priced in? It's priced in dollars. So it's crazy, which makes things like this, protecting that value over time, that much more important. The more of this that you throw into somewhere that you don't even pay attention to, the more that you stack, you're just doing yourself a favor over the long run. Yeah, spot will go up and down, premiums will go up and down, but over the long run, one day you're gonna look back and say, wow, I accumulated a nice pile of value there. Like Warren Buffett said, price is what you pay, value is what you get. So that's why silver and gold are important. Anyway, that's it for today. Take care.